sharpen your thinking and put you back in charge. Because your mind is programmable, and the morning is your window. If you don't claim that moment, the world will. In few moments, I will teach you the simple shifts that can rewire your mind and reclaim your power, starting from the very first minute. The first battle is won before the sun rises. Each day presents a battlefield, not against others, but against your own indifference. And the battle begins the moment you wake. That single moment between slumber and decision is where destinies are made or broken. While the masses hit snooze, choosing delay over direction, the few who rise with resolve step into a world unclaimed by hesitation. This is not about waking up early for the sake of routine. It is about understanding that the first decision of your day becomes the commander of all decisions that follow. Morning is the mind's clean slate, untouched by worry, unclouded by distraction. In that stillness, your spirit is most malleable, ready to be shaped by purpose or surrendered to chaos. If you seize that moment with intention, you set a powerful precedent. I lead, I do not follow. The man who waits for inspiration will always be second to the one who moves with intention. The greatest minds in history understood this. Benjamin Franklin asked himself each morning, "What good shall I do this day?" Thomas Edison was known to rise before the sun, already sketching ideas while others were lost in dreams. They were not chasing time, they were shaping it. Morning was their forge, their sanctuary, the place where plans became action. You must see the morning as your arena, a place where your thoughts can be directed before the world attempts to steal them. When you rise early, not because you must, but because you choose to, you send a message to the universe. You are not waiting for life to hand you meaning. You are creating it. The true power of morning lies not in what you do, but in who you become. You become the architect of your own energy. You begin your day by declaring victory over delay. And in doing so, your fears, your past, and the demands of the world lose their grip on you. To rise early is to begin with dominance. It is to say, "This is my day, and I will not give it away." Do not wait for a perfect reason to wake early. Do not wait for motivation to lift you. Create a reason. Create the motion. And soon that movement will shape a momentum that nothing can stop. Every morning offers a choice. Retreat into passivity or rise into power. One path leads to repetition, the other to revelation. Choose the latter, and you will find that the universe itself begins to respond to your energy. The world makes way for the one who begins with purpose. So when the darkness of sleep begins to lift, and your eyes open to a new day, remember, the battlefield has already begun, and your first victory, perhaps your most important one, is the decision to rise. The mind reflects what it is fed. Your thoughts are not accidents, they are ingredients. And each morning, you are the chef. The first hour of your day is not a gap to be filled with noise or distraction. It is sacred ground. What you place upon it becomes the foundation of your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your results. This hour is your seed time, and what you plant, you will harvest. If you begin with noise, gossip, fear-driven news, you feed your mind confusion. The mind, like a sponge, absorbs what it touches first, and that first impression, it sets the rhythm for the rest of your day. A mind soaked in chaos cannot produce clarity. A heart stirred by negativity cannot sustain peace. But if you begin with silence, with prayer, reflection, or a few simple lines of gratitude, your inner world becomes a fortress, quiet, strong, and immovable. The most powerful minds in history did not leave their mornings to chance. They did not wait to feel inspired or for motivation to arrive like a gust of wind. No, they cultivated inspiration. They built rituals. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations to himself each morning. Abraham Lincoln read scripture and quoted it often. These individuals fed their minds deliberately, and by doing so, they fed their future. This is your call to feed your mind deliberately. Read something noble, speak something powerful, write something meaningful. Let your first hour be a temple of thought, not a market of distraction, because in those early moments, your subconscious is at its most impressionable. It is fertile soil ready to receive whatever seed you sow. Sow power and you will reap resilience. Sow clarity and you will harvest conviction. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. It is not mere routine, it is the brushstroke of mastery. By feeding your mind each morning with strength, you train it to respond to life with strength. And when adversity arises, as it always does, you will not react from weakness. You will respond from wisdom. A few moments of intentional thought each morning can shape the course of your entire day. And enough of those days, shaped by discipline, forged by consistency, lead to something far greater. They shape your destiny. Greatness is not born in bursts. It is born in habits. Begin tomorrow, not with urgency, but with sovereignty. Guard the gates of your mind as if your future depends on it, because it does. The first hour is yours. Let it be holy. Let it be deliberate. Let it be the spark that lights a fire no fear can extinguish. Set a prelude, or be used by someone else's. Every day, someone will try to use your energy for their agenda, whether it is the demands of your job, the needs of others, or the distractions are many and they are loud. If you do not clearly define your purpose at the start of your day, you will find yourself swept up in a current not of your making. You will spend your hours reacting instead of acting, chasing tasks that leave you empty, fulfilling duties that never quite feel like your own. You will become a servant to urgency. And urgency is a cruel master. But the individual who rises and declares, "This is who I am, this is what I will build," becomes immune to the chaos. He is not distracted by noise because he hears the voice of his own intention. She is not seduced by the agenda of others because her own mission outshines their demands. Clarity of purpose is not just protection, it is power. A clear purpose written each morning on paper in ink is not a ritual of superstition. It is an act of creation. With pen in hand, you are doing something divine. You are speaking the unseen into form. You are reminding yourself that your life is not random, not reactive, not subject to the winds of fate. You are planting a flag in the soil of your day and claiming it as your own. Purpose does not need to be grand. It does not need to impress the world. It does not need applause or validation. It simply needs to be yours. Your purpose may be to build a business, to raise a child with wisdom, to write words that move the soul, to protect and provide, to create beauty, to heal. Whatever it is, when you declare it with sincerity, it becomes your compass. And compasses do not argue with storm. They do not adjust for moods. They do not panic when the terrain gets rough. They point the way, always. When you write your purpose each morning, you are training your mind to follow your command. You are not waiting for clarity to arrive. You are cultivating it. You are not waiting to feel motivated. You are building discipline. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to remember who you are and what you are here to do is a revolutionary act. It is what separates those who drift from those who lead. The drifter wakes and checks their phone. The leader wakes and checks their soul. Let your first act each morning be a return to self. Sit in stillness. Reflect. Ask the question, what is the one thing that matters most today? And then write it. Do not underestimate this act. Ink on paper may seem small, but it carries the weight of your will. That small decision, repeated daily, becomes a force stronger than doubt, louder than fear. Purpose is not a lightning bolt. It is a fire you tend daily. Each morning you must add wood to it. Your intention, your clarity, your conviction. Without this practice, the fire dims, but with it, it grows into a blaze that lights the path not only for you, but for those around you. So do not leave your purpose to chance. Design it, declare it, and most importantly, live it. When you do this, you become immovable. The chaos of the world no longer derails you because you are anchored. You are guided not by the moods of others, but by the truth within you. Start tomorrow by writing your purpose. Let it be raw, imperfect, human. Let it be yours. And then follow it with action, for purpose without action is fantasy. But purpose followed by motion, that is the making of destiny. Move the body, awaken the will. The body and mind are not separate entities. They are one system, intertwined and inseparable. What affects the body reverberates through the mind. And so, if the body is sluggish, the mind becomes foggy. If the muscles are tight, so too are the thoughts. But the moment you move the body, you ignite the spirit. You stir the embers of vitality that have lain dormant through the night. A simple morning walk, a few deep breaths of fresh air, a round of stretching. These are not minor acts. They are declarations. Declarations that you are alive. Declarations that you are capable. When you move, you are not just loosening joints or increasing circulation. You are sending a message to your subconscious. I am here, I am active, I am ready. The body was made to move. It is not a vessel for passive consumption, but a dynamic tool for expression and strength. And when you engage it with intention, even briefly, you unlock energy that transforms your state. That dull ache of fatigue begins to lift. That cloud of confusion starts to part. That low hum of anxiety begins to dissipate. In its place rises clarity, presence, and an unmistakable sense of personal power. Movement in its purest form is a signal. It tells the brain that life is happening, that you are not hiding, that you are not retreating. And this signal creates momentum. Many talk of motivation as if it is a mystical force, something that arrives on its own, gifted to the lucky. But this is a myth. Motivation is not the starting point, it is the result. And what produces it? Action. Move first. Inspire second. This is the rhythm of real growth. You do not wait until you feel like acting. You act and the feeling follows. A push-up, a jog, a slow stretch with deep breath. These are small movements, but they create a powerful shift. They tell your nervous system, we are not victims today. We are builders. When you wake your body, you awaken your will. You are no longer led by the lethargy of sleep or the weight of yesterday's thought. You are led by intention, anchored in motion. Your physiology affects your psychology. When your posture changes, your mindset follows. When your breath deepens, your focus sharpens. Look at the great men and women of action. They did not sit idle, waiting for clarity. They moved. They lifted, they walked, they stood tall. Movement was their companion, not just of the body, but of the spirit. Warriors warmed up before battle. Artists paced before performance. Leaders walked the floor before making decisions. This was not chance. This was choice. The beauty of movement lies in its simplicity. You do not need a gym. You do not need equipment. You need a decision, a willingness to stand, to stretch, to engage. Just 5 minutes of deliberate motion each morning can alter your chemistry, your attitude, your entire day. It breaks the spell of inertia and replaces it with fire. And this is the truth most overlook. Inertia is a thief. It robs you of the present moment by keeping you numb. But motion? Motion is a messenger. It delivers strength to your bones and courage to your heart. It reminds you that you are not here to watch life happen. You are here to make life happen. So tomorrow, before the world makes its demands, make one small move. Breathe deeply. Roll your shoulders. Walk a few steps with awareness. This is not exercise for vanity. This is movement for sovereignty. This is how you reclaim your day before it begins. Because you are not just waking up a body, you are waking up your will. You are saying, today I choose to move. I choose to live. I choose to lead. And from that first step, the rest of your life begins to follow. Gratitude is the seed of power. Before the demands of the day steal your peace, plant one powerful seed. Gratitude. Not the passive kind, where you think briefly of something pleasant. No, this is active gratitude. Written, spoken, felt. It is not a sentimental gesture. It is a foundational act. A choice to begin the day from a position of strength, not scarcity. Because when you choose gratitude, you choose perspective. You choose power. Every morning, you face a fork in the road. Down one path lies complaint, the endless loop of what is missing, what is wrong, what others have and you don't. Down the other lies gratitude, the sacred recognition of what is already within your reach. Your breath, your freedom, your mind, your ability to rise and try again. These are not small gifts. They are proof that you are still in the game. Gratitude is the only force that simultaneously humbles and strengthens you. It grounds you in reality while lifting your spirit toward possibility. It reminds you that while you may not have everything you want, you already possess everything you need to begin. And in that mindset, you become resilient, you become resourceful. You stop asking, why don't I have more? And start asking, how can I use what I have? This shift is not theoretical, it is transformational. When you begin your day in gratitude, you rewire the mind for abundance. The brain begins to seek opportunity instead of threats. It notices beauty instead of problems. It finds reasons to act instead of excuses to delay. You walk into the world not as a beggar of chance, but as a steward of blessings. And the world responds. Make it a ritual. Write 3 things you are grateful for each morning. Don't just list them. Reflect on them. Feel them. Then speak them aloud. Let your own voice become the echo of appreciation that drowns out the noise of worry. This practice takes less than 5 minutes, but its impact is eternal. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how others perceive you. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws favor. It fosters connection. It strengthens your spirit. The individual who moves through life with gratitude in their heart is rich in spirit. And the person who feels rich is more likely to attract actual wealth, not just in money, but in relationships, in peace, in opportunity. Gratitude unlocks this abundance because the universe favors those who appreciate its gift. And when you prove that you can honor what you have, you will be entrusted with more. In the morning, your mind is pliable. Your emotions are raw. This is the perfect time to shape your soul. Let gratitude be the sculptor. Instead of rushing into the day with a heart full of tension, begin with reflection. Before you scroll your phone, before you check your messages, return to yourself. Ask, what am I thankful for today? The answer may change, but the result never does. When gratitude becomes your default setting, strength, clarity, and success follow naturally. You are no longer chasing fulfillment, you are embodying it. You are no longer waiting for the perfect moment to be happy. You are choosing it now. And that choice, made again and again each morning, becomes a force that no hardship can overcome. So before the world tells you who you should be, remind yourself of who you already are. A being capable of appreciation, a mind rich with thought, a soul strong enough to choose joy. Start with gratitude, and you will find that everything you desire, peace, power, purpose, is already within reach. Discipline is the architect of freedom. Most people spend their lives chasing freedom without ever understanding what it truly means. They dream of escaping routine, casting aside structure, and doing what they want when they want. But this illusion of freedom is a trap, a mirage that disappears the moment you try to live without boundaries. The truth is simple yet powerful. Freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the result of discipline. Real freedom, the kind that allows you to wake up with clarity, pursue your deepest purpose, and live with peace of mind, is forged through the repetition of disciplined actions. It is not born in chaos, but cultivated in order. And the foundation of that order begins with your morning. Your morning ritual is your first act of self-respect. Before the noise of the world invades your mind, before the demands of others pull you in different directions, you have a sacred window of time that belongs solely to you. What you do with this time determines who you become. A strong morning routine is not meant to suffocate you. It is meant to stabilize you. Like the pillars of a great temple, it holds up the architecture of your day. Whether it's journaling your thoughts, moving your body through exercise, or sitting in quiet reflection, these acts are the bricks and mortar of self-mastery. You do not rise early because it is easy. You rise because it is necessary. It is necessary to remind yourself that you are in control. Not your emotions, not your impulses, not the distractions of the world. When you rise with purpose, you rise in power. Every time you follow through on your morning commitments, you're not just checking a box. You are training your subconscious mind to obey your higher will. You are proving to yourself that your word has weight. And over time, this daily decision becomes your identity. What begins as discipline evolves into something greater. It becomes instinct. You no longer wrestle with the urge to sleep in or delay your goals. The internal war quiets. What once required willpower now runs on momentum. The battle between desire and distraction no longer dictates your morning. You've replaced resistance with rhythm. This is the essence of self-leadership. It's not about motivation, it's about mastery. Leaders are not born, they are built in the moments no one sees. And the most powerful leaders are those who lead themselves first. Structure is not a prison, it is a platform. Within the framework of discipline, you find the time, energy, and clarity to create, to build, to lead, to love. Without structure, your energy leaks, your focus scatters. You wake up reactive instead of proactive. But with structure, you reclaim your day before the world even wakes. This is how you reclaim your life, one morning at a time. Do not envy the man who appears free but is enslaved by his habits. Envy the one who, through ritual and resolve, has turned discipline into a doorway. Behind that door lies true freedom, the kind that empowers you to build your legacy, shape your future, and serve others with strength. So build your mornings with intention, not because you have to, but because your future self is depending on it, because your dreams are too important to leave to chance, because your purpose deserves more than your leftovers. Discipline is what builds the structure, and within that structure you are finally free, not just to live, but to live well, not just to succeed, but to become unstoppable. This is how greatness begins, not in the chaos of chance, but in the quiet commitment of the morning. Faith begins in the first step, not the final result. In the silence of the morning, doubt speaks the loudest. It creeps in before the world is awakened, whispering, "What if this doesn't work? What if all your effort is in vain?" But you must understand, every person who ever accomplished anything great began in that same silence. They too heard the whispers. They too stared into the unknown. And yet they moved forward, not because they had certainty, not because the path was lit, but because they chose faith. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision, a deliberate act of defiance against the limits of evidence. It is the bold declaration that says, "I do not need proof to begin. I only need belief." The achievers of history did not wait for guarantees. They acted when the results were unseen, when the applause was absent, and when the outcome was unclear. They planted seeds in soil they could not yet see sprouting from. That is the essence of faith. Every morning ritual you commit to, every act of journaling, every repetition of exercise, every minute of quiet focus is a leap of faith. Not because it will bring you results today, but because it is aligning you with a future only your spirit can currently envision. You do not act because success is promised. You act because success is commanded by your belief, by your persistence, by your decision to show up when no one else will. Faith is not blind. On the contrary, it sees what others overlook. It sees the invisible blueprint etched deep in the soul. Faith says, though the evidence is absent, the vision is present. Though I walk in shadows, I trust the ground beneath me. When you begin your day in ritual, you are not just preparing your body, you are awakening your belief. You are shaping your mind to obey a higher order. You are declaring to life, I may not see the fruit yet, but I will till the soil. I will water the roots. I will show up. This is the power of faith in motion, the willingness to act as if the future you desire is already on its way. And every step you take, every discipline you honor in the quiet of dawn, echoes across the universe as a signal of your readiness. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And life listens to that. It hears the footsteps of the faithful. It recognizes the man or woman who dares to build without permission, and in time, it moves mountains to meet them halfway. Faith is the engine of every great endeavor. It is not a wish, it is a command. It says, I will go forward, whether the path is clear or not. I will work, whether the results are seen or delayed. So when the morning air is heavy with doubt, Remember this, you are not alone. Every champion once stood where you stand. Every legend once began in obscurity. What separated them was not certainty, it was their refusal to surrender to silence. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, they created structure. Instead of fearing the absence of results, they honored the presence of purpose. Let your morning ritual become your declaration, your daily act of faith. You do not need applause. You do not need proof. You only need the will to rise and act. Faith is not proven before the journey. It is proven through it. So rise, even when it's dark. Work, even when no one sees. Speak life over your goals, even when they seem distant. And one day, when the harvest comes, you will not be surprised, because long before the world believed, you believed. This is the unseen power of faith in the morning. It does not guarantee ease, but it guarantees motion. It does not promise applause, but it promises growth. So act, and act again. And let each morning become your temple of trust, your sacred appointment with destiny, because the faithful are never alone. They are simply the first to walk where the world will one day follow. Silence is the language of the strong. In a world addicted to noise, choosing silence is an act of rebellion. Every beep, buzz, notification, and headline is designed to capture your attention, and with it, your power. From the moment you open your eyes, the world rushes in with opinions, expectations, and distractions. But you must ask yourself, whose voice will shape your day, yours or theirs? The most courageous thing you can do in the morning is embrace silence, not as a retreat, but as a revolution, because silence is not empty. It is full of potential, full of clarity, full of truth. It is the space where power gathers and where your most important battles are won before they even begin. The world has taught you that strength is loud, visible, dominant.